So today we are going to talk about cough and its medications, because cough is the most common problem for which over-the-counter medications and cough syrups are being abused or being used commonly without having a knowledge about which one to use. So what exactly is cough? Cough is a protective reflex from our body for expectoration or expulsion of the mucus or foreign bodies which are there in the throat or the lungs. So this is what cough is, and it is basically a protective reflex which is being generated because of sensors available in your throat and the lungs. When these sensors get irritated, they generate a reflex which is called as the cough reflex. Now cough is broadly defined or divided into two types. The first one is the non-productive cough or cough without sputum. So there is no mucus in the cough, it's a dry cough which we generally call it as, and for this it is important to suppress this cough. The second category of cough is a cough with sputum or a productive cough or a useful cough which basically excretes out or expectorates the mucus out from the throat or from the lungs. So this cough should not be suppressed. Now the cough syrups or the cough medications that are available, we will not talk about the antibiotics for treatment. We are talking about mostly the symptomatic treatment. So the medications or the syrups that are available in the market can be defined into four broad categories. And along with these category definition, I will also tell you the most commonly available salt or chemical or the formulation that is available in the market. So the first is demulcents. Demulcents are nothing but cough lozenges or the cough toffees that you have when you have immediate cough reflex or you are having coughing. So these are simple medications or simple cough drops which have chemicals which basically soothe your throat. So it basically soothes or relaxes the sensors in your throat so the immediate cough reflex is avoided. These have a temporary lasting effect, and these are most commonly available as lozenges or toffees. The second is expectorants. The expectorants, basically there are two broad categories in expectorants also. The category one is which increases the secretions. So what happens is it increases the production of mucus, thin mucus, which eventually what it does is the thick mucus and the thin mucus together make the mucus slightly thin, which can be easily expectorated out or expelled out from the throat during cough reflex. The most commonly available one are the sodium and potassium citrate syrups. This effect is also achieved by steam inhalation and saline gargles. So they also have almost the similar effect. The second category of this is which have basically mucolytic action, means breaks the mucus as well as increases the secretion, thin secretions. So a chemical which breaks the thick mucus in the throat will make it thinner, break it down, and increase more secretion, which is thin, will make ultimately this mucus that is available in throat very thin so that it can be expectorated out. So the broad category or the salts that are commonly available within this are BROMHEXINE and AMBROXAL. These are the two common salts or the two common formulations that are available, BROMHEXINE and AMBROXAL. Then comes the third broad category of cough medications or the cough syrups are the ANTI-TUSSIVES. ANTI-TUSSIVES basically act on your brain, which reduces the effect of cough reflex from the sensors. So basically when cough sensors in the throat are stimulated, brain does not respond because of ANTI-TUSSIVES. And the second effect they have is in the throat as well as the lungs, where it reduces the sensation of these sensors. So these medications are called as ANTI-TUSSIVES. Because they are good for dry cough, because there is no mucus and there is a cough reflex, you need to suppress it. this is good for anti-tussives, are good for dry cough and are not recommended for thick mucus cough, because if you suppress the cough and there is mucus inside, it is more problem than the resolution of a problem. So you need to remember, anti-tussives or medications which reduce the cough or suppress the cough are good for dry cough or very less mucus cough. But for expectoration cough where there's a lot of mucus formation, these medications are not recommended. And what are the common salts that are available in these formulations, or what are the common formulations available is dextromethorphan, chlorpheniramine, diphenhydramine and promethazine. So these are different categories within them. One of them is antihistaminics and the others are different. But these are the common salts that you should remember. Dextromethorphan, chlorpheniramine, diphenhydramine, and fourth is promethazine. So this is what you should know. Now the fourth category are bronchodilators. So bronchodilators are nothing but medications or cough syrups which basically broaden the bronchus, basically broaden the throat or the bronchus or the trachea, which is constricted or the lumen size is small. So the airway, when the size reduces, the bronchodilators basically increase the size of your airway. This is medication. This medication is particularly used for bronchial asthma. So asthma or asthma, what you may like to call it as. So these medications are used for these, and the common chemicals available or salts available are salbutamol or terbutaline. So up until here, you should remember the broad categories and the common salts available. Why? Because I'll just give you an example of a most common syrup that is used is the Grillintis syrup. So Grillintis is available in a plain bottle, which is a blue-green bottle, stripes bottle, which is having dextromethorphan and chlorpheniramine, which is basically an anti-tussive for dry cough or very little mucus cough. Now there is another Grillintis BM. So this has basically Grillintis combination of bromhexine and terbutaline. So it is basically an expectorant and a bronchodilator. So here it is important, this is recommended for people with asthma having mucus formation. This is not recommended for people who are simply having bronchial secretion, because bronchodilators salbutamol and terbutaline have major side effects like trembling of hands, palpitations and other side effects. So it is not recommended for other cough, but asthma or asthma related cough with mucus should be used with bromhexine plus terbutaline. Plus there are other formulations in the market which are available as AMBROXAL only or bromhexine, which are used for thick mucus cough. So friends, I hope you will now take the cough medications and cough syrups responsibly, because these are available over the counter. We have restricted our discussion to the allopathic type of cough syrups, not the Ayurvedic or the different category, only allopathic cough syrups. And I hope from next time when you buy a cough syrup, you will refer to this video or have making notes of this video to refer to when you buy a cough syrup for yourself or for your loved ones. So if you liked my video, please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to watch my next video. Thank you.